Hello students, greetings of the day. In the previous session, we just have discussed the subject introduction to our principles of programming language subject. From this lecture, we are going to start with the first unit of our principles of programming language, right? So the name of this first unit is the fundamentals of programming. Okay, so under this unit number 1, the fundamentals of programming, today we are going to discuss the importance of studying this programming languages principle. Okay, so let us start with the topic. Okay, so in today's lecture we are just going to discuss what are the importance of the studying programming languages, or we can also say that what are the different types of importance, or what is the importance of studying the principles of programming languages, right? As a computer engineer or as a student of computer engineering branch, you all know that there are number of programming languages that are used to develop the different kind of softwares, right? So while developing this software, you all are aware, or you all are familiar with different programming languages and the environment in which those programming languages are going to work, right? So what is the important, or what are the importance of these programming languages, and what are the reasons behind studying the principles of programming languages? So it is very natural that computer science students wonder that how they will get benefit by studying these principles of programming language, right? So anybody of you can wonder or can think that how these principles of programming languages are going to help us in developing the different kind of softwares, or developing the different kind of applications. So after all, we all know that there are many other topics in computer science are worthy of serious study, right? There are a number of topics that can be learned under this computer science branch, right? But the main reason behind the studying the principle of programming language is to provide the good knowledge about three things. There are three things. About those three things, we should provide the good knowledge, right? The first thing is there, that is fundamentals of design. A student, any computer science student can have good knowledge about the fundamentals of design. Then that student should have the fundamental knowledge of implementation and the fundamental knowledge of application, in which that programming or the application of the programming language, right, in which you are going to write down that program. So these three things are very important: designing of that program, or the designing of that application, implementation of that particular application, and the application that we are going to use to develop that particular application, or the application or the environment in which you are going to write down that software. Okay, so there are different types of things, or there are different types of these main points with the help of which we are going to study the principles of programming language. And with the help of these principles of programming language, one can provide with the good knowledge about these principles. So this is the main reason behind studying this principle of programming language subject. So in the laboratory or in the industries, we all know that there are number of languages that can be used in everyday programming, right? And each with its adherent and the detractors, right? Some programmers or some people who are working in the industry will suggest you that all the programming languages are equivalent, and the only difference being the matter of personal interest. But this is not all about the these programming languages, right? All programming languages are not equivalent. We cannot say that all the programming languages are equivalent. So every programming language is going to have some kind of its identity, right? And with the help of that identity or with the help of that characteristics, you can make use of that characteristics, right? To develop a particular type of software, right? So we can say it, we can really say that the computer programming languages like Java, which is better than the C++. But is that scheme better than this, right? Each machine level language is better than either of them, or it is still a question that which programming language is better and why. So this question is going to remain there at the end of all the discussion, that which programming language is better than other programming language and why it is better. Because why? Because every programming language is going to have some kind of characteristics, and due to that characteristics, that programming language can be better in the field of that software development. So the study of this principal language is going to support us or the better understand that the basic logic of programming language and its adherent and the detractor. So it also supports us to understand the programming languages paradigms. With the help of the study of different types of programming language principles, we will come to know that how these different types of programming language principles are going to have in our programming languages and how those are going to support us in the programming languages paradigms. Okay, so we can believe that there are different types of potential benefits that we will get after studying these principles of programming language. So what are these benefits? We just have a list of these potential benefits. So we can have, with the help of this list, we can just understand that what is the importance of principles of programming languages in our curriculum. So the first potential benefit of our programming language or of our principles of programming language, that is increased ability to express the idea, right? So with the help of this benefit, we can just have the increased ability with the help of which we can just express our ideas towards the development of that program, towards the implementation of that program, and towards the designing of that program. So with the help of these principles of programming languages, we can just get this ability to express the ideas of programming languages. Then second we are having is improved background for choosing the appropriate languages. So with the help of studying these different types of principles of programming languages, we can just have improved background. With the help of that improved background, we can just choose the appropriate language to develop certain kind of software, right? So there are a number of different types of software. There are standalone softwares, there are web softwares, right? Those can be run on the browsers, right? So there are different types of software. There are Android softwares. So these softwares can be developed with the help of some appropriate languages. So whenever we are going to have the study of principles of programming language, we will have that improved background. And with the help of that improved background, we will be able to choose the appropriate language to develop that particular type of software system. Then next we are having is it provides the greater ability to learn the new language. So with the help of these principles of programming language, we will get or we will have a greater ability to learn new programming languages that we are having. Okay. Then next is there, that is to understand the significance of implementation. The importance, the significance of implementation phase in our software development life cycle. This can be highlighted, this can be the importance of this implementation phase can be highlighted with the help of this by studying the principles of programming languages. Then next we are having the ability to design the new language, right? Once we study the particular principle of programming languages, we will have the basic knowledge of that programming language, right? And with the help of this programming language, basic knowledge, we will be able to design the new language, right? So we can just have the ability to write down the new languages with the help of these principles of programming language. And the last that benefit that we are having after studying these principles of programming language, that is nothing but the overall advancement of computing, right? So with the help of these principles of programming languages, we will get the overall advancement of the computing, right? So these are some basic benefits that we are going to have, and these benefits make the study of principles of programming language important, right? So if you don't study these principles of programming languages, all these benefits will not be there in that students, right? Or that student will not be able to have these benefits after studying this subject. Right? So these are the different types of programming languages, principles, benefits, right? So let us try to have the idea of all these benefits or every benefit that we have discussed in this slide. So we will have the one by one benefit. So first we are having the increased ability to express the idea. So it is widely believed that the depth at which a programmer which we think that is influenced by the expressive power of language in which the programmer are going to communicate their thoughts. So it is always difficult for people to conceptualize the structure that they can't describe and they can't tell verbally, or they can't express them in the writing. So language in which a programmer develops software places the limits on that kind of control structure, data structure, and the abstractions that they use. The next thing, that is the awareness of wider variety of programming language features can reduce such a limitation. So we are having number of programming languages, and we are all aware about that wider variety of programming languages feature. So with the help of that different types of variety of programming languages feature, we can just reduce such a type of limitations in the software development. So the every idea that we are having that can be expressed with the help of particular programming language, that can be put into the, or that can be described into the verbal or into the writing, right? And we can just use that programming language to develop such a kind of softwares. So these are the different types of programming language or variety of programming language that we are having. And if we are having the knowledge of every type of programming languages feature, so it is going to help us obviously increase the ability to express our ideas. We obviously will be able to express our ideas, right? So this is the first benefit of our programming language or principle of programming language. Then next we are having is improved background for choosing the appropriate knowledge. So many programmers, there are, when given a choice to choose a programming language for their new project, they will continue to use the language with which they are most familiar. So even if it is poorly suited for that new project, but it is not the way to choose appropriate programming language for their new project or their upcoming projects. So if that person, or if that developer has discussed or has gone through the different principles of programming language, has studied the different principles of programming language, then that programmer will definitely choose the appropriate programming language depending on that new project. Means if that new project is developed or that new project is that particular type, and to develop a project of that particular type, if he requires to understand a new programming language, or he try or he need to learn a new programming language, he will definitely choose to learn that programming language and will choose to will choose a programming language in which that new project should be developed. So if these programmers were familiar with the other languages available, they could be in better position to make informed languages choice. So obviously, whenever we are going to have a study of principles of programming language, uh, that obviously that developer is going to have the improved background for choosing that appropriate language to develop that new project. The next is there, that is it provides a greater ability to learn new language. So obviously, whenever if you are having a better knowledge, or if you are having a better background for choosing the appropriate language, that will make you to learn a new language, right? If your new project requires a new programming language, right? So it also provides, or the principles of programming language also provide greater ability to learn that new languages, right? So programming languages are still in the state of continuous evaluation. You all know that every programming language is having its subsequent versions are there, which means it is a continuous learning is essential. So programmers who understand the concept of operating object-oriented programming will have easier time learning Java. But once the thorough understanding of fundamental concepts of language is acquired, it becomes very easy to see how concepts are incorporated into a design of that particular language being learned. So it also helps, the principles of programming languages is also help us to provide the greater ability to learn the new languages. The next is to understand the significance of implementation. So with the help of these principles of programming languages, we can understand the implementation issues that will lead us to understand of why languages are designed the way they are, right? So we can easily find out that the importance of implementation phase in our software development lifecycle, right? And this will turn leads into the ability to use a language more intelligently as it was designed to be used. So it is very important that we should know the significance of implementation, and that can be inculcated, or that can be get with the help of by studying the principles of programming language. The next we are having is to ability to design a new language, right? With the help of the more languages knowledge you gain, the better understanding of programming languages concepts you will understand. And with the help of that, it will be easier to design the new programming languages. Then next one is there, that is overall advancement of computing. In some cases, the languages become widely used, at least in part, that is, those in positions of choose language were not sufficiently familiar with PL concepts, right? So many believe that ALGOL 60 was better language than Fortran, but however, the Fortran was the most widely used, right? So it is the attributed to the fact that programmers and managers didn't understand the conceptual design of ALGOL 60, right? So it depends on the programming language and its interest, right? So the overall advancement of computing is there. That is the benefit that we will get with the help of studying the principles of programming language, or by studying the programming languages. Okay, so this is all about our today's session. So in our today's lecture, we just have the basic introduction to the importance of programming language, and we have just discussed the different types of benefits that we will get after studying the principles of programming language. So this is all about our today's session. Okay. In next lecture, we will try to have another topic from our principles of programming language. Okay. So today we are going to end our session here. Thank you. Thank you very much.